Hey, this is MJ, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to crochet our Christmas penguin. The yarn that I'm using is Mary Maxim Titan bulky weight yarn, and I'm working with the color cardinal, white, and black. And this is a bulky weight number 5 yarn, and I do find that it is on the heavier side, almost closer to a bulky weight 6. So it is a nice chunky bulky weight. You will need a small amount of yellow yarn as well for his beak and his feet. I'm using a little bit of Bernat Softy Chunky, but you can use any yellow yarn, and you could double it up if you only have worsted in your stash. So the hooks that you're going to need for this pattern is a 6mm and a 6.5mm, and these are gold streamline metal hooks from Furls Crochet. You'll need a little pom-pom maker for the pom-pom, and I'm using safety eyes, and these are 12mm. So I purchased these stuffing pellets from Amazon. I got a big bag so I would have it for a bunch of my different amigurumi projects, but I do like adding a little weighted bag to the bottom of them. It just makes them a little bit more stable so that they don't fall over. So I'm just going to use a little plastic bag and add some of these into the bottom of the penguin. You could also use craft sand. I have used rice in the past, or you could use rocks, or really anything that you have that will add a little bit of weight to the bottom of the penguin. You'll also need some polyester fiber fill for stuffing the penguin, and I usually purchase a big bag of this from Walmart. You can get a 64-ounce bag, and then you have it for a lot of different projects. So I'll make sure to link all of these items on our blog post and in the pattern. And finally, you will need a stitch marker because we will be working the penguin in a continuous round. So you'll need this just to mark your rounds as you go. So we will begin with the 6.5mm crochet hook and the black yarn. I do apologize that this tutorial, I'm working with this color. I do understand it will be difficult to see the stitches. So it is important that you are familiar with how to crochet your basic stitches and that you're not a brand new beginner, because it will be difficult, obviously, to see the stitches as I work this. So we're going to begin with a magic ring. Going to take your hook, sliding it through all 3 loops, pull through, and chain 1. We'll now work 10 half double crochets in the ring. Okay, so once you've worked your 10 stitches, I'm just going to push my work out of the way. I'm going to take my tail, pulling it. Only 1 loop is going to pull in. We're going to then take that loop, give it a tug, and it will pull that other loop tight, or it should. Then we can take this tail and pull. Now we're going to be working single crochets through the back loop only. So work 2 in that first stitch, so we'll place our marker in the first stitch, and we'll continue working 2 single crochet in each stitch around. So we're going from 10 to 20, so I just like to count my stitches as I go. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I have a total of 20 stitches. I'm now going to increase again. So I'm going to work 1 single in the first stitch and 2 in the next. 1 single in the back loop only of the next stitch, and 2 in the next. So we will be working through the back loop throughout this pattern, and the body will be worked all in single crochet. So 1 in the next, 2 in the next, and we're going to increase to 30 stitches. Okay, so I now have 30 stitches. We're going to do another increase. So 1 in the first, 1 in the next. Then I'm going to mark the first stitch, and then 2 single crochet in the back loop of the next. So 1 in each of the next 2, and then 2 in the next. So we'll now increase up to 40 stitches. Okay, so next I'm going to do another increase. So we're increasing to 50 stitches. This will be the last increase. So I'm going to single crochet in the first 3 stitches, mark the first, and then 2 in the next. So 1, 2, 3, and 2 in the next. So I'm going to repeat this pattern around, increasing to 50 stitches. Okay, so I've worked around a total of 50 stitches, and the next round we're just going to work 1 in every stitch. So 1 single crochet through the back loop of every stitch around for a total of 50. Okay, so I've worked all the way around. We're now going to start adding in the white, but I'm going to work 21 stitches of black first. So 1, 2, I'm going to add my marker. I'm going to work across 21, and then I'll meet you up for that last stitch. Okay, so I'm coming to my 21st stitch, so we're going to go through the back loop, pull up a loop, and then I am just going to yarn over with the white and pull through. Then what I'm going to do is work 8 stitches in the white, and I'm going to bring along the tail with me. Now you can just have a pull, or we can crochet over it. For this one, I'm going to crochet over it, and then on some other rounds, I'll show you the other option. If we don't crochet over the black, we're not going to have any peek through. So if we take a look at this one, I crocheted over the black, so you can see we have a little bit of black peeking through in the odd spot. So if you just pick it up and don't crochet over it, then you won't have that yarn peeking through. But on this first round, just to secure it, I am going to crochet over it. And I'm also going to crochet over this white tail, just so that I don't have to do the weaving for that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on the 8th stitch, we're going to pull up the yarn, then we're going to drop off the white, pull through with the black, and we're going to continue around. So you should have 21 stitches in black. So now I'm back to my marked stitch, and for this round, we're going to work a total of 20 in the black. So there's 2. So I'm going to go across and I'll meet you up before my last stitch. Okay, so I've worked across 19. We'll be changing to white on our 20th stitch. So I'm going through the back loop, I'm pulling up, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull across the white. So your other option, of course, is to cut your white and then join again, but that's just a lot of tails. So I'm just going to have pulls coming across, and I don't mind that at all, especially it's all to the inside. We're not going to notice. So I'm just going to pull through with the white. We're going to bring the black along. Now, what I did notice is on my first penguin, I crocheted over that white pull and I crocheted over the black. It did make the front sort of taller than the back. So it kind of gives them a neat little shape, and that's okay. If you want to hide those tails, you can go ahead and crochet over both of them. I'm just curious as the difference of how it's going to look if I don't crochet over them. So I'm not going to. I'm going to leave them just loose in behind like this. So first I'm going to go through the first stitch, and then we're going to go through each of the white. So I'll have 10 white this time. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then on the 10th, we will switch back to the black. So I'm just now going to pull the black across, pull through, just going to give that a little tightening, and then finish working around. Okay, so then we get the pulls in behind, but because we're going to be stuffing this, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to leave them like that and see how it turns out. So I'm going to work all the way to my marker. Okay, so I'm coming to the marker. Work my first 2 stitches. And this time we're working across 19, and we'll be increasing our white section to 12 stitches. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll work across, and then we'll meet up for the color change. Okay, so I'm coming up to my last stitch. I'm going to pull up a loop. Then I'm going to grab my white. So I'm just going to pull it across, hook it onto my hook, pulling it through, and then I'm going to work across. Again, I'm not going to crochet over these tails, and I'm going across 12 this time, and then we'll change back to black. Okay, so this is my 12th stitch. We'll pull up a loop. I'm going to drop the white off. I'm going to grab the black. And we just want to make sure that we're not pulling these too tight. You want to be able to let the belly just pull across. Without it like pulling that in too much. You can give it a tug just to make sure. And I'm going to finish working around. Okay, so I'm back to my marker. And this time we're going to work across 18. So we've worked 2. So we'll do 18 and then 14 white. So I'm going to work across. Okay, so I'm going to change to white. And we're going to work across now 14 in the white. Okay, so the 14th should be going into the black stitch. I'm going to drop this off. Again, make sure that's pulled good across the back and pull through with the black yarn. And we'll finish with 18 stitches to the marker. And now we'll be working $18 black and 14 white. So this is as wide as we're going to make the white section across the front of the penguin. I'm going to work across to my marker. Okay, so now we're going to work 6 rounds at our working the established pattern. So 18 black, 14 white, 18 black. So we're going to go around doing 6 rounds at that. Okay, so I've worked 2 stitches. We'll mark that, and I'm going to go ahead and work around. We're going to change as normal, but we're going to be changing in the last black stitch to the white and just work it as I've been showing you. I'm going to go ahead and work up these 6 rounds and then we'll meet up again. Okay, so I've worked my 6 rounds and now we're going to start doing some decreases on our white section. So I'm going to work across. So I'm working across 18, so there's 2, 3, 4. Okay, so here's my 18th stitch. We're going to change over to white. And I'm going to decrease the first 2 white stitches. So I'm going to go through, pull up a loop, go through the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. And then work across, decreasing the last 2. Reducing our white section to only 12 stitches. So we're going through, pull up a loop, go through the next stitch, pull up a loop. And now we're going to yarn over with the black, pulling through all 3 loops. And then working 18 stitches in black. So now this round we're going to work 18 in black again, and then only 10 in white. So we'll do that decrease again, the same as the last round. So I'm going to work across in all my black stitches and then I'll meet you up for the decrease. So I've changed over to the white and then we're going to decrease across the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we'll decrease the next 2 and yarn over with the black, making sure that we're not pulling that too tight. And we'll continue around working 18 black stitches, and I'll meet you up for the next round. Okay, so now this round we're going to do 18 black again. We'll then do 8 white, 18 black. So we'll do the decreases the same way. Okay, so I'm going to work this across. Okay, so I'm finishing up with the black. We're going to change over to white. To give that a tug, and then decrease. And then I'll decrease the last 2 white stitches. So I've changed over to the black. We're going to continue working 18 black stitches. Okay, so now this round we're going to start decreasing through our black sections and no more decreases to the white. So we're going to start off with a single crochet in each of the next 2. And then a decrease across the next 2. 1 in the next 2. Decrease the next 2. One in the next 2. Decrease the next 2. 1 in the next 2. And then decrease the next 2. And then you should have two black stitches remaining. And we'll change over to white. And then we'll work 8 across the white. Oh, and we'll change to black on the last stitch. And then we'll work basically the same. We're doing 1 in each of the next 2. And then a decrease. 1 in each of the next 2. And then a decrease. So we had 4 decreases on the other side. We'll have 4 decreases on this side. So we'll reduce by 8 stitches. One, 2, decrease, and then you're ending with 2 single crochet. So now this round we're going to work 1, and then we're going to decrease the next 2. And we'll do this 4 times. So 1 in the next, and then decrease. 1 in the next, and then decrease. And we're ending with 2, 1, 2, and we're changing over to white and working 8 across the white. Change back to black. And we want to start with 2 and then a decrease, and then 1 and a decrease, 1 and a decrease, 1 and a decrease, and this time we should be ending with 1 because we started with 1. Now the next round, I'm just going to work 1 in every black stitch, 1 in every white stitch, 1 in every black stitch, so no decreases this round. So you should have a total of 10 black on each side and 8 white. So I'm going to complete this round on my own, and then I'll meet you back up on this side. Okay, so we're going to do another decrease. This time we're going to do 1 and then a decrease. One and then a decrease, 1 and then a decrease, and this time we're ending with 1, and we'll change back to white. Change back to black, and we do 1 and then a decrease, 1 and a decrease, 1 and a decrease, and then end with 1. And our next round, we won't do any decreases. We're just going to work 7 black, 8 white, 7 black. Okay, I finished that round. Now what I'm going to do, we won't be doing any more white, so we can cut the white. Okay, and we're going to want to stuff the penguin before we go any further. So I've already got my little weighted bag with the beads, and I've just double bagged it. So we can put that down in the bottom. And then I'm going to get some stuffing. Okay, so you just want to stuff him up nice and firm to kind of work around the bottom. Make sure it's nice and round and kind of work it around the bag that we have down there. Now, if it looks like his body is not completely even or shifted, it's just because we're working in a continuous round. So it's not going to be perfect, but you can kind of get a nice look with just how you stuff it. Okay, so once you're happy with the stuffing, we're going to keep going. We're going to do 3 rounds now just in the black at 22 stitches. So I'm going to continue marking my rounds as I go. And I'm going to work around 22 stitches. Whoops. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and work 2 more rounds at 22 stitches. Okay, so I've worked my 3 rounds, and now what we want to do is add in our safety eyes. And if you take a look, you can see this full row right in here between the ridges. We're going to come down and put the eyes into this row. So I'm going to stick this through. The backing on. You have to pull out a bit of stuffing to do this. You can always stuff it back again. Okay, and now we're going to do our decrease round, and we'll be decreasing every 2 stitches, so reducing from 22 to 11. So there's 1. Decrease the next 2. Decrease the next 2, and continue doing this all the way around. Okay, so then we'll fasten off. I am going to add a little bit more stuffing into his head before I close this up. And all you need to do is weave through the front loops of every stitch around. Close that up. Just want to make sure his head has a little bit of puff to it. So we're just going to go through the front loops only around. Okay, and then we're just going to weave in our tail. You can go back in the opposite direction. So next we want to make his little hat. It's so cute and quick to work up. So it's going to be worked the top down. Okay, so I'm going to make a magic ring, pulling that first loop through, chain 1, and now we're going to work 6 single crochet in the ring. Now we'll pull the ring tight. Okay, so this loop started to pull in, this one hasn't, so we'll take this loop, give it a tug, pull the tail. Now we will be working through the back loops, and in a continuous round. So we're going to want to use our stitch marker. So we're going to work single crochet through the back loop of the first 2. Then we're going to work 2 in the next. 1 in each of the next 2, and then 2 in the next. Next round, 1 in each of the next 3. So there's 2. And then 2 single crochet in the next. 1 single crochet through the back loop of the first or the next 3, and then 2 in the next. Okay, so we're going to continue increasing every round in this manner, going up to 24. So now we'll have 1 in the first 4 stitches. I'll do 2, get that marked. So 3, 4, and then 2 in the next. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 in the next. Okay, so simple increase pattern. Every round we have 1 more single crochet before the increase. So now we'll have 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll do an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the increase. Okay, so now I have a total of 14 stitches. So I'm going to continue increasing the same way, the same manner, until I have a total of 24 stitches. Okay, so I worked 10 and then 2 in the last stitch, so we're up to 24 stitches. What I'm actually going to do next, slip stitch into the back loop, and I'm going to change now over to white. I'm going to chain 1, and crochet over my tails here as I go. And I am going to crochet through the back loop only as I go around. So I've worked around 24 stitches. I'm going to slip stitch in the first single crocheted join. Now I'm going to do a join as you go ribbed band. So I'm going to chain out 7. In the second chain from the hook, we're going to work a single crochet, and we're going to single crochet in each chain. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now I'm going to skip the first slip stitch into the next 2. Then I'm going to turn, I'm going to skip over these 2 slip stitches and work single crochets through the back loop. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Chain 1 and turn. So I'm going to continue working single crochets through the back loop, and we'll be slip stitching to that base row as we go. So there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I like to count as I go so I don't miss a stitch. I've already slip stitched into this single crochet, so we're going to go into the next 2. And we're going to repeat this all the way around. So skip our 2 slip stitches. Keep going. Okay, so I've worked around a total of 24 rows. You should be ending up at the top. So only 1 slip stitch, and then we'll chain 1, and we're going to slip stitch the band together. I'm going to go through the back loop and over to the starting chain. For a total of 6. And then we can fasten this off. Okay, so we can weave in this tail. Then we can fold it. Just like this. Then we're going to make a pom-pom. You can also add a personalized tag if you like this one. Okay, so you're going to want to wrap your arms of your pom-pom maker. So I've wrapped this side, and we want to do about the same amount of wrapping on the other side. going to close this up. Going to cut along the groove. These aren't the best scissors for it. I'll just make do. Okay, then we're going to take a piece of yarn and we'll place it down through the grooves. And we're going to give that a good knot. Can then go to the other side and knot it on that side as well. If you want your knot to stay, you can always wrap that through twice, and then it will keep it from loosening off when you go back. Now we can open it up. Give it a fluff, and then any stray bits, or if you want to give it a little trim to round it up a little bit. So now what we can do is use our ties to tie it to the top of the hat. So I'm going to put this on my yarn needle and push my needle through. Okay, and do the other side. Okay, so I'm going to trim my red tail. And we have these tails too we can still weave in. And we can knot this and trim these tails as well. So I've already crocheted them in one direction, so I just like to weave it back in the opposite. Okay, so we can set that aside. Next, we can work on the scarf. And for the scarf, it's going to be crocheted lengthwise. So I'm going to chain out a total of 61 and just make sure to crochet these chains loose. Okay, so we've worked a total of 61 chains. And now we're going to work across half doubles. We're going to go in the second chain from the hook, going to turn our work, and we're going to crochet into these back bumps. So we'll work a half double crochet through the back bump of every chain across for a total of 60. So we're yarning over, go through the back bump, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3. Okay, so now we're going to chain 1, turn, and work half double crochets in every stitch across for a total of 60. And this is all we're going to do for the scarf. Okay, so I'm going to work across the row. Okay, so I've worked all the way across. We're going to just fasten this off and then we can weave in these tails. Have a tail at each end, so we can just weave these in and set this aside. We'll get all of the pieces complete. And then we'll finish putting him together. Okay, so I'm gonna finish weaving in my tails and then we'll work on the beak next. Okay, so now for the beak, we're going to do a magic ring. Slide our hook through. Chain 1 and 6 single crochet in the ring. Okay, we'll pull the ring tight. I'm going to slip stitch this one to join. Chain 1 and a single crochet around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, we can slip stitch this to join. And fasten off the tail long enough for sewing, and we can trim the beak tail as well. And we'll want to start sewing on our pieces. So we can sew the beak just below his eyes. So basically on that next row, it's going to go almost over 2 rows. If you find it helpful, you can always pin the nose to the body, and then it might make it a little bit easier. And I'm just doing some weaving with the tail before I trim it. Okay, so to crochet his feet, what we're going to do is take some yellow yarn, put a slip knot on the hook, going to chain out 4, and I'm going to turn and work into the back bumps of the chain. So in the second chain from the hook, turn, work a single crochet through the back bump, and work across. So we have 3 single crochet stitches. Now I'm going to chain 2, turn, and in the first stitch we're going to work a double crochet, chain 1, I'm going to slip stitch in the next stitch, chain 1, work a double crochet in the next stitch, then I'm going to chain 2, and then we're going to slip stitch down into the stitch. I'm going to fasten off. And then what we can do is weave in the starting tail. Okay, and then our fastening off tail, I'm going to get my yarn needle on it. I'm going to take your hook or your needle, slide it through. Okay, so here, now when we take our penguin, we want to use the tail to sew, and you want your little feet just to fit in the front like this. So you want to position them basically where you think looks good, which is just at the bottom of his white section. Okay, and then we can just come down and sew to the body. Okay, so it's going to look like this, and then you can weave in your tail. Just to make sure that that is all secure. And then we'll just do the same thing on the other side. So we'll be making 2 wings, and they are different. So we'll start out with a chain 2, 1 single crochet in the second chain, chain 1, 2 single crochet, chain 1, and for one wing we'll be doing our increase in the first stitch, the other wing will be doing the increase in the last stitch. So we'll do 2 in the first, 1 single crochet in the next, chain 1 and turn. So we're going to work 1 in each of the first 2 stitches, and then we're going to do 2 in the next. So that keeps all the increases to this side, and we're only increasing to 4 stitches. So now we're going to work 6 rows at 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 1. This will be row 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do 6. And I'm going to chain 1 after I have my 6 rows, and we're going to just work around the wing. So basically 1 single crochet per row. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to do 3. And then 1, 2, 3, and then we'll finish working across the first row of the wing. We can slip stitch in that first single crochet to join and fasten off with a tail for sewing. So now our second wing, put a slip knot on our hook, we'll chain 2, 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook, chain 1, 2 single crochet, chain 1, and this time we'll do 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 2 single crochet in the last stitch, chain 1, 2 single crochet in the first stitch, keeping all the increases on this side. It just gives the wing a slight little curve, and then 1 in each of the next 2. Chain 1, and we'll do 6 rows at 4 stitches. I'll chain 1, and I'm going to work around this wing the exact same. Okay, so we just have a small amount left after completing the wings, and we are just going to sew now the wings to the body. So you can weave in any tails and trim them. And so it's going to curve down like this. Okay, and you can sort of adjust, but I feel like coming up to where it starts to narrow in is a good spot for them. And if you have some pins that you could just pin the wing in place. And I have noticed a little bit of gapping on this one, so even going down maybe to the 6mm hook, you would probably get a little bit tighter stitch. But what you want to just make sure is that you do have a tight stitch. And I think I like that place, so I'm just going to use my needle to hold that. Okay, so we can put his little scarf back on and his hat. And we have our finished little penguin. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell to stay updated on all my new videos and tutorials. Make sure to check the description box below the video for the pattern and yarn links. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.